Welcome to the Not Budget Diaries. I'm June, this is my husband Jay.
Today we're going to tell you how we spent $9,557.39 on a 50-person wedding
In Fort Lauderdale. He's in a band. Music is our life. And for the wedding, I really wanted to do like Priscilla Presley, Elvis, Kurt Cobain.
The cost of the venue was $107, and it was basically only for the setup of the room.
I was talking with my boss and I asked him, I was just like, I'm having a really hard time finding places for the ceremony. And he was just like, oh, my country club does events all the time. And I'm like, do you have to be a member? And he was like, no. Like, if they have availability, you can use their room. You do have to use their catering, which is a factor in the budget. We got married on a Thursday, and it ended up being perfect because we have big families. I'm Jewish, he's Cuban, Irish, and everyone wanted to come to this wedding. But with the venue, since they were having an event on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we were able to use the room for free on the Thursday. People said that they loved it so much because they took the Friday off and they were able to have a long weekend. And it really
have a long weekend.
We also had a long weekend for our honeymoon. It was perfect. Thursdays, underrated.
The catering was $7,264.39.
Having the venue so cheap, we were able to put up most of our money into the buffet, the open bar, the cocktail hour, the desserts. We had like, what, 3 entrees?
Yes,
and
I think
like
it was 3.
3 sides. And I let him choose that because he's a big foodie.
I do remember it all being really good.
It was delicious.
But
oh my God. I think after the wedding, we went back to the country club just to eat there again. It was very nostalgic. Pro tip, make sure you have mac and cheese at your wedding because everyone eats mac and cheese.
I will also say that it was definitely worth it to have the open bar.
Yes.
And the cocktail hour. It kind of changes everybody from being a little bit stodgy to being a little bit more loose, and then everybody's kind of having a good time.
Totally. And we also had custom cocktails. We had about 3, and it really made it easier for people to know what to order. They were like, oh, I'll get
Aperol Spritz.
An Aperol Spritz, I'll get a bee's knees, I'll get a Greyhound.
It was a salty dog, I think.
Salty dog, yeah, our dog had his own cocktail, so that's how we were able to include him in the wedding. We also made the decision to do 2 desserts. So we did like little mousse cocktail shots. Those were delicious. We had a bunch of flavors. And instead of doing like a wedding cake, because I feel like that's an old tradition, like what are we gonna have a cake in our freezer? So we were like, let's have an ice cream bar. They can have their own toppings, their own like 3 flavors.
It gets a little hazy around that time.
Yeah, but it was I think we ate it though. We made sure.
I definitely had some.
I made sure I got that ice cream at the end of the night. The total for the decor was $821, and it was for the reception, it was for the ceremony. We kind of used the same stuff, we just moved it over.
We bought bouquets for the bridesmaids and then bouquets for the tables.
No, the bridesmaids' bouquets were the ones from the ceremony that we just put on the tables.
Oh!
Because we had, remember?
Oh, shoot, yeah, I forget.
Yeah, we had about, yeah.
So yes, the $500 was just the bouquets.
Yes.
And those bouquets we reused for the tables.
Yes, and I had 4 people on my side, he had 4 people on his side, and we had 8 tables. So after the ceremony, we just got the flowers from the wedding party and put them all on the tables.
All the other flowers, like the corsages that we all wore, came from the backyard here.
Yeah. Florida's so tropical, so why wouldn't we use this? Why would we spend $2K at like a flower warehouse for the same stuff that is in our backyard? At the end of the day, it looked great.
Yeah. The rest of the decorations would be stuff that we have hobby-wise. So we brought in some of her stuffed animals, a couple of the cameras that we have in the house, musical equipment, which also
like
kind of...
pedals, cassettes.
We brought in like the bongos and stuff like that, and the tambourines, and that also... really helped out too, because when the music was playing, some people would like
yeah,
pick up the items.
some people picked up like tambourines.
Yes.
And they brought that on the dance floor. The total for the attire was $865, and that included hair and makeup. First was, well, the biggest thing for a bride is your dress. I didn't want to overthink it, and I just walked into David's Bridal and tried on every single dress that could fit me. When I first wanted to do it like the wedding, I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be all about me. You know, I'm very extra. So I was like, I want a big dress. I want to be the center of the show. And all those made me feel a little embarrassing because it was just too much. I'm very small. It made me look like I was a bobblehead. And my grandma saw this one dress that was just an empire waist straight down, and as soon as I put it on, I did not want to take it off. I told them right then and there, I was like, I need this dress. And because David's Bridal was filing for bankruptcy, I was able to get an amazing deal on the dress. And then your suit, you went to Men's Warehouse for that, right?
Yes, for the suit.
For the shoes, we went to DSW. I got these cute Mary Janes, and then he went to Steve Madden, and if you go all the way back into the clearance section, they have amazing shoes for like $20, $30.
You get some really good deals.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be afraid to walk all the way in the back. The total for hair and makeup was $390, and that included me and my 3 other bridesmaids. I let my friends do their own makeup. I got mine professionally done by your cousin Sarah, who like does eyebrow threading and stuff. But I let my friends do whatever makeup they wanted. If they wanted to have eyeliner, they could have eyeliner. It was a rock and roll wedding, like who cares? I'm a hair girl, and my hairstylist was like, I will do your wedding party because I've been doing your hair for maybe 10 years, and she wanted to be a part of it. I also let my friends do whatever hair they wanted. I wanted the Priscilla Presley. I wanted the half up, half down with curls, very big, because my dress was very simple. So I was like, let's do the hair and makeup big. If you're doing your hair, do your hair first. Be the first one to get your hair done so your hair can stay in the curls if you're curling your hair, and then do the makeup. So there's no stress at the end of the day where you're about to go into your ceremony and people are doing blush and, you know, your hair. Be the first one. Even if your bridesmaids don't want you to be the first one. Our photos for the wedding were $500. I was like, you know what? For a rock and roll wedding, why not have a concert photographer? Yeah. So during the shows, and he's, you know, performing, I went to every person and I was just like, what's your rate to shoot? So they were like $200, $250. And I was like, would you photograph a wedding? And they were like, oh, well, I haven't really done that. And then whatever they said, like 200 or 230, I was like, I'll double it. And we found someone that was like, you know what, if you're doubling my rate, I'll do it. And I was like, perfect. Mm-hmm. We had her for 3 hours. She did the ceremony, the cocktail hour, and then the reception, basically. And the rest of the night, we just took photos on our phone, on the Instamax camera, and we got what we wanted out of the photography. Yeah,
I remember you taking the Instamax camera and just going to every like table and being like, all right, I'm gonna take a photo with the entire table here.
Oh yes, that's so important. As the bride and groom, go to every single table and get a photo with each table. Just so at the end of the night, you're photographed with everyone. And then you can also use those photos as thank you cards.
My most meaningful moment was when we played the song together.
He brought me into the reception like you were carrying me. And then he puts me onto the stage, gives me a mic, and we just start immediately going into our song. You know, we didn't miss a beat. So yeah, that was my favorite moment. And then also when I was walking down with my dad, seeing him get choked up.
It was better than I could have imagined.
Oh, that's sweet, honey. Thank you. You looked cute too. Whenever I would get a call from my grandma, because she would call me weekly, she would be like, put Jay on the line. And then she would say to Jay, enough is enough. When is it happening? I'm the baby of my family, so it meant a lot to show my dad and show my grandma that I was being taken care of. My grandma especially, with her being, I think she was like 89, It was just so important for her to be there because she's basically my mom as well. My mom passed a while ago, and she was just really my whole heart. And my grandma was like, before I pass, I need to see you get married. It was her final wish, and she got it.
Hello.
Hi, Dana.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So, I wanted to know, what did the wedding mean to you?
It was really exciting to see such a special event happen, and I know that it was the most important thing for Grandma to see. She kept saying she wanted to see her great-grandchildren be born and for you to be married. That's all she wanted for the rest of her life. And she was so happy at your wedding, and to see you so happy and Grandma so happy, that was very special. And I have all these videos of Grandma dancing, and just to look back at that and see that that was like the last time that she was so genuinely happy is a gift. It really is.